Good afternoon, Shania, and good afternoon, listeners. It's been a while.
It has been quite a while, but we can say that you have been very busy.
Yes.
I mean, you are now the Chief Executive Officer of Capricorn Group, one of the largest banking institutions, if we should say.
Yes.
So how has that transition really been from moving from GIPF to Capricorn, which is obviously now the banking sector, banking institution? How has that transition been?
Well, it has been fantastic. As you know, I left GIPF last year.
Mm-hmm.
My tenure there came to an end. And so when I left, it has been fairly hectic, I must say. Shortly when I left, I thought I'll have a very quiet life. And that was not to be. Since then, actually, I had 3 CEO offers.
Oh, wow.
Elsewhere. And board membership. I have then made up my mind that I'll prefer to join the Capricorn Group. And it has been quite a wonderful experience. I joined the onboarding process in January, which lasted until I formally took over as CEO, Group CEO, on the 1st of March this year. So, but the experience has been wonderful. The leadership of Capricorn were well prepared to do the onboarding process. So were the staff. I have to take my hat off for the what I call the Capricorn family, which is the staff of Capricorn. They welcomed me warmly, and I feel as if I've been there for ages now. So I don't feel new at all. I'm totally in charge, and matters are moving forward.
Totally in charge, definitely.
Yes.
Definitely. I mean, you received 3 offers of 3 offers.
Yes.
At this point, we need to ask, what are we not doing correct? Because we are not even receiving 1 offer to be a CEO, and Mr. David is receiving 3 offers.
Yes.
But let's just go back as when you served as CEO the first time.
Yes.
I think we want to understand the Mr. David behind the scenes.
Yes.
There is the CEO, and
Yes.
then there is the person that was turned into a CEO. How did that happen? Like, we really want to know.
Well, to be honest, my progression in life, I've not designed it that way.
Yeah.
Things happen, opportunities come, and perhaps I've been at the right time, at the right place, and I took it. But it comes from responsibility, the sense of responsibility, and the comfort that perhaps the appointing authorities throughout have seen that this is a person that we can trust with being the head of their respective organizations. I started my leadership role a long time ago, actually. Manager here, and then the main one was Executive Director of the Namibia Investment Center, which is now NIPD. Yeah. I was there, very dynamic team at the time, young and full of energy. And then the creation of the development bank came to play. And so the outfit was running for 2 years. And I saw it, but I didn't take note.
Yeah.
Until one day I said, let me send in my CV. Yeah. To my surprise, the response was, come for an interview. And I went for an interview. Maybe the things I said gave comfort to them. And so I landed that particular job. It's a very special appointment for me, because it was DBN was, there was nothing. I was the first employee. I had to create it from zero.
Wow.
And that was really something special. Then I joined GIPF, which was a very particular and memorable stay at GIPF, we did big things there. Operationally, people talk about the money, but operationally raised the asset value by 100 billion almost from where it was in 10 years. That was something. And now I'm here at Capricorn, very special group, highly integrated. People don't realize the breadth of Capricorn. Is a huge entity, asset value of almost 66 billion. And so making it perhaps the largest financial entity within Namibia.
Yeah, actually it is.
Yes, apart from, I think, GIPF. So I think the stars have just been aligned with me, and it's really a privilege to serve, and that's the way I look at it. What is the value add that I have to bring on the table?
Okay.
Yes.
So like you've heard it from Mr. Nuyoma, I think you just need to take the chance, take the leap of faith, submit your CV for that executive director position.
Yes.
And if they like what they say, they're going to employ you.
Yes.
There is no, like you say, the stars just basically aligned for him. Now at Capricorn Group, we want to hear from the CEO himself.
Yes.
What are the plans? Especially now you have taken over. I mean, the people before you had their own plans of how they wanted things to work out, how they wanted the company to look, the group to look like. What are your plans for Capricorn Group?
Well, first of all, Capricorn, if I may just say in a nutshell, consists of a number of subsidiaries. It's a huge family. Those that are directly owned is Bank Windhoek, which we all know, which is the second close, very close, almost number one bank in the country by market size, just shortly after another bank. And then we own Bank Gaborone, which is in Botswana, operative in Botswana. We have Capricorn Asset Management, which is perhaps the largest asset management company in Namibia, with asset under management of 46 billion or so. So there are other smaller entities. One of the shareholding is in Entrepo, which is the second largest microfinance facility. And then we have in Botswana PEO, which is the sister company of if I may say, Entrepo, but of course the ownership there is different. It's PEO is also a microfinance facility in Botswana. It's still new, 18 months so far, but it has done well. Then there are insurance where we have 29.5% in Sanlam. People don't realize that. And Santam 28, almost 29% in Santam also. It's a large conglomerate. Plans. Success of any group is strategy. And behind strategy are people, leadership and rank and file. And that's what really makes it work. It's a simple formula, but it works for me. So you ask me my plans, it has to be a corporate strategy, not necessarily an individual strategy. And I was lucky in the sense that not necessarily by design in terms of the timing. A week after I joined in January, we had our EXCO strategy formulation, where I participated fully and literally thrown at the deep end and coordinated that particular platform that day. And it was 3 days. And thereafter, on the 6th of March, then we had the board strategic session, which we did. I'm happy that we were able to have one voice on the way forward. And that becomes now the corporate strategy that I have to implement moving forward. There was already a strategy, it was reviewed, and a new strategic emphasis added to it. And what is it? It's really about growing the enterprise as a whole, and to work in as a conglomerate, as a business that has got many subsidiaries and entities, but to work as one. That is one. The other is, obviously, if you look at our public documents, the strategies more or less remain the same. Digital emphasis, I say the future is digital. Whether we like it or not, the future is digital. And for us to be cutthroat and to be able to provide services in all our various entities, we must digitize. We must be able to provide services much more easily through digital, introducing smart digital solutions to make it easy for our customers, for our clients, and for our stakeholders. And obviously, we need to look at the issue of people within the organization, diversity, equity, and inclusion. That we need to see, is my ExCo dominated by male or not? Do we have right balances, gender, race, and all this? All this we have to see moving forward. How do we move the needle and shift the needle towards greater and equitable scenario when it comes to people? But of course, the other item that comes with people is sharpening their skills. Development of skills, to me, it's one of those that are sacrosanct. What makes an organization tick is ability by people to do things professionally and to do things accurately and diligently. So be it whatever field you find yourself, you have to be able to do so. So in a nutshell, that is what we are looking at. And at the center of all is the customer. We need to look at the customer, as the old adage says, customer is king or queen. And we exist because of the customer, not because of ourselves, is to provide that service. And how do we put the customer at the center of all? And that's really as simple as it is, in a nutshell. Of course, there are initiatives that will come that are very specific and unique to us.
So that is the voice of David Nuyoma. He is the Chief Executive Officer of Capricorn Group, the newest Chief Executive Officer of Capricorn Group. And he was just giving us a bit of highlight of what he plans to do now that he is the group's CEO. You know, something always stand out. It's how he makes it very easy. Makes it very, very easy to just become CEO. I don't know. Maybe because he goes like, you know, it's very simple. This is the strategy. You just need to implement the strategy. So I guess if it was that simple, we would all be CEOs. But it really is not that simple.
Yes.
It must be a very difficult thing to be a leader, and especially a leader of a diverse group of individuals and people.
Yes.
We know that even in our offices, we sometimes struggle to just get along with our colleagues.
Yes.
Now imagine being the CEO of Capricorn Group.
Yes.
You understand that's a very big team that is working under you, and that should really be a lot of work. But just now that you're in the banking sector, specifically even in Namibia, what are some of the challenges that we have seen, especially when it comes to understanding banking in the country by people that not just in rural areas, because we also have people that are a bit not in urban areas, but they still don't understand banking. They still they don't understand the importance of banking. You still hear today, up to today, there are people that say, I prefer to keep my money under the mattress. I would rather keep my money somewhere. It is not safe in the bank. So what are some of the challenges that generally the banking sector faces in Namibia?
Yes. Yeah, and you mentioned the group being a lot of people. Yes, we are. Altogether, including Botswana, we have a staff complement of 2,200 or so. It's quite massive. In Namibia, we have altogether close to just 1,900 plus minus. So yes, there is still an unbanked community, partly because of accessibility and lack of knowledge. But generally, we see great advancement there, and we need to tailor up specific products that answer to their specific needs and circumstances. And hence, part of the effort that from the Capricorn side we have been doing, especially through our banking infrastructure, Bank Windhoek and Bank Gaborone, has been the branching out to reach out to as many corners of the country as possible. And nowadays also we are introducing, you don't necessarily need to be there physically. You can use your mobile phone to do banking and transact accordingly. So it's a matter of education, and there is a countrywide or national effort, I think through the Ministry of Finance and Bank of Namibia, what they call financial literacy campaign. And that is part of the effort, not only for the Capricorn group of Bank Windhoek, but it's a national effort that we need to do. And those who are listening and they are still having their money perhaps in a can in the soil or under the bed, that is not a safe way to do things. And money has got value. If you put it there, nothing happens. Remember the story of the Bible. It says that there were 3 sons or 3, is it servants?
Servants, yes.
And they came forward. One put the money in the can, buried it. And that person was not looked at favorably by the master. So, but those that took the money and multiplied it because they invested it, and the banking sector is there for that. And from us at Bank Windhoek and the Capricorn Group, yes, we can do that. And perhaps what I can add here, I mean, since you asked me the question, is not only banking. You should, for those who have money in the bank, think about multiplying the money. You have money in your current account or saving account. You can open an investment account. For example, at Capricorn Asset Management, what do? Is grow the money. And nowadays, if you open the newspapers, even today and yesterday, you see 2 instances of arrest made of where lucrative returns were promised by unregistered and sometimes unscrupulous people. And I always say, when it sounds too good to be true, don't touch. There is a catch somewhere. Put it in reputable institutions. And I was saying, I see one of them was actually pensions, savings of families, not only as a person, families, trust that have been taken. I say, why didn't you put it in Capricorn Asset Management? That money would have become multiplied, or buy shares in the banking sector. You can go and buy shares if you want to become a shareholder of a bank. If you have a bit of saving, you won't lose, because we have such a strong asset base that secures you as a depositor or an investor. So yes, so that's my advice to those who are out there who have money that they wish to put away.
Okay. So just as we're heading towards rounding up and everything, we want to look at corporate social responsibility.
Yes.
I think a lot of private sector institutions, we have seen quite a lot happening in that area. We have seen, even from Capricorn, other banks, and just private sector in general, over the past few years, there has been a bit of uptake in terms of just giving towards the community, be it towards education, be it
Yes.
towards health, and especially towards SMEs and just
Yes.
that entrepreneur capacity building. How important really it is for us as, not for us, I'm not part of Capricorn, as
Welcome.
Thank you very I've just been added to Capricorn.
The spirit has taught you.
So how important is it, especially for private sector,
Mm.
to, I think we're talking about sustainability reporting yesterday at the investors
Yes.
workshop.
Yes.
So how really important is it for private sector to take that on and just say, okay, fine, whether we are reporting on it or not, but like we said, it is important for private to report on it.
Yes.
Whether we are reporting on it as institutions, this is something that should fundamentally be taken on,
Yes.
just to give back to community. What is your thought towards that?
Oh yeah, I'm very keen on corporate social responsibility. And if I may just say background, for some time over years, corporates were more, they would only report on financials.
Yeah.
And they behave that the only stakeholder that matter is the shareholder. And dividends are paid, and that's it.
Yeah.
They operate in the environment, in the society, without giving out a cent. I know some big names that people celebrate who had philosophy that social responsibility does not belong to business but to government. I think that is a very short-sighted way. Corporate governance, as it became more sophisticated and articulated by corporate governance codes, and like the King Code and so forth, it became then, like in Namibia we have the NAM Code.
Yeah.
One of the things they say is that stakeholders are more than shareholders. Part of it is, of course, your employees. Part of it is your society in which you operate and community. You are privileged to be able to make money and create wealth. It's incumbent upon you to share in that wealth. At Capricorn, that's what we do. Almost annually, we give out, latest I saw is 9.9 million, that will be shared with worthy causes. We take a particular focus, like in this instance, one of the focal areas that we want to address is employment creation among the youth. If you look carefully, the statistics that were just released the other day by the Namibia Statistic Agency say 71% of Namibian society is young, under the age of 35 or something like that. And there is huge backlog in terms of employment opportunities. What can we do besides those activities through loans, etc., that could also contribute to creating opportunities for communities to earn an income? So then there are other areas too, like health, and schools or education, and food production. The other area that we are focusing on is how do we use our, let me say, our minds positively to make use of what we call saving wastage of food and utilizing it properly. You know how much food, fresh food, is dumped, not only in Namibia but worldwide, by restaurants, by hotels, by producers when they cannot sell. It's not off, it's not dangerous, but it's dumped. But if there is no system to harvest that, it will go to waste. Whereas you have alongside people who are really struggling to find something to put in the stomach, families and so forth. So these are some of the areas that we are looking at. And to answer your question in short, yes, indeed, it's a responsible thing to do. And we, and myself as CEO, I'm also a member of the Capricorn Foundation, a board member or a trustee. We'll do everything possible to contribute positively in alleviating the lot or the challenges that our society faces.
Okay. Like I said, that is the voice of David Nuyoma. He is the CEO of Capricorn Group. Every time I just remember he is the CEO of Capricorn Group, something just happens in my mind. So on a very lighter note, and
Yes.
just as we conclude, Mr. David, how do I become CEO? Because
Yes.
I also want to become CEO one day.
Yes.
So let's start with, how do I become CEO?
Yes.
What must I study to become a CEO?
Well, it's not about studying. It's, let me say, it's attitude.
Okay.
Yes. Are you able to provide leadership? And it comes with the whatever you do. For example, you are seated there. You do it responsibly and you do it well, you get recognition. You manage this resource. How do you add value? And then you, once you get recognition, you move up. And that's really what it is. Is that recognition from how you do things? I remember when we started, I started also just like anybody else somewhere. And I didn't have a car. I'll walk to work, take my cab, walk to my workstation. But we worked ourselves task orientated. I won't knock off until my task is done for the day. In the morning, I start with something fresh. When I finish, I did not think about my job description. I'll go to my boss and say, what else is there to be done? Maybe one of the colleagues is having too much on his desk or her desk. Then I say, I'll happily do that. You must have that. Nowadays, I see some colleagues who say, you asked me that, my job description, have you checked it? Will you pay me overtime and things like that? Yeah. But if you want to be to move up and to be taken note of, you must do something extra.
Okay. That is the voice of Mr. David Nuyoma. He is the Chief Executive Officer of Capricorn Group, and like he said, if you want to move up the ladder, especially in corporate or anywhere else, actually anywhere, you really need to take, firstly, initiative, you need to be disciplined, and you need to go the extra mile. So basically, by what he means by if a colleague needed help, he's more than willing to do it, is you need to be able to go the extra mile for. I know that on Monday we discussed a book called Atomic Habits. So what we normally do is either we give a business tip or we recommend a book that people should read just to help them grow their knowledge or just help them understand the certain things in the corporate world. So Mr. David, what is your business tip of the day for us today?
Well, and since we are about to celebrate tomorrow, our 34th independence,
yes,
my tip of the day is let's create wealth. The little that we have, let's live within our means. And always put something aside, whether as a corporate, whether as an individual, and grow that. And that's what we are there for, to grow that, your wealth.
That's Mr. Very short, very